Well, hello and welcome along to another edition of the Andrew Eborn Show, where I'm delighted to be joined not only by Dawn Parry, but also by Anthony Churchill. How are you both?
Good,
I'm very good, thank you.
No, good, thank you.
Wonderful.
This is going to be tricky. We've got to get used to one at a time now.
Oh, I know, the one at a time, but we could get used to that. Dawn, we know where you are. Remind us where you are.
I'm in Somerset, North Somerset, just 16 miles out of Bristol, but in the lovely fresh air of the countryside.
We love Bristol, we love Somerset, and the people down there are fantastic and real characters. And talk of real characters, Anthony, I've heard so much about you. You're just up the road, aren't you? Whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm in the
He's
Cotswolds.
moved a bit.
Yes, I'm in the Cotswolds.
Well, that's a long road, isn't it?
It's a long road. Yeah, it's about 50 miles road, yeah. But I'm in the Cotswolds in a lovely little village called Painswick.
Oh, Painswick, and I love this. In the Cotswolds, that is where they have those chocolate box villages, as I call them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's very beautiful. We're truly blessed with where we live. It's, it's beautiful.
Fantastic. And you yourself, you're a wonderful writer. I've been looking up on your books, and you've got one out at the moment. Talk to me about that.
Yes, it's just arrived.
Hurrah! Are we into a first? Because it's about dinosaurs. Lucy.
We should say this book actually comes out tomorrow, and this was incredibly fortuitous that the books arrived in the post today.
Yeah,
remarkable. It was only I was saying to Anthony yesterday, would you be available tomorrow? Not between 2 and 3:30, but other times, yes. So this is fantastic and just in the nick of time.
And it's perfect. I tell you what, so we have got a world exclusive. We've got the
world
book.
Yeah, and here she is. Here's the founder of the book. So there you go.
It's called Lucy the Triceratops.
Lucy the Triceratops, who thinks she's a fairy, and that's okay.
I think it's more than okay. But what we should try and do then, because maybe you could read a little bit from it, since the book is arrived in your hand. Would you be happy to do that for us? Tell you what we should do is set it up in terms of who the character is and what the book's about, and maybe you could read us a little bit from it.
Yeah, no problem at all. So how she came about, because it's kind of like a long story. It's about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I should say. Moved back from London to Bristol, and living just around the back of Ashton Court, which is quite famous, for Bristol. It's right close to the suspension bridge, and it's quite a sort of landmark. I'm walking through Ashton Court, nothing to do, very little to do, didn't have much work on, sat down in the middle of the parkland and came up with the idea of a dinosaur living in the wood. And that's basically where it started. So I came up with a story. It was not the story in the book, but it was a story. Then I went back, and because I'm a creative person, I actually made a puppet, and the puppet is Lucy.
Oh, bring Lucy on. You're putting her on the nose. Let's hold her up to the camera. Oh, Lucy looks superb.
Hi.
And she's actually a puppet. We don't want to give it away. It's rather like bits and pieces, but you can animate it. Fantastic. There you go.
Yep. So I created the puppet because I was a puppeteer at one point. I did work for productions like Sooty and the Sweep and Dick and Dom and all those programs back then. Created the puppet, and along with the story, I put it out as a workshop for small children. And because I'm qualified to work with 0 to key stage 2s, so I put it out as a workshop.
Which we should add is up to age 11.
Yes. So put it out as this workshop, and it's about being different. So Lucy is a dinosaur. You don't get many of those around these days. Well, I don't know. But, yeah.
They keep saying there's some dinosaurs still around in business, politics and things.
So Lucy is different. She's green. There's no other dinosaurs, basically. So the story was that she was born, quite a few years ago, back in the Victorian period, because dinosaurs live longer than humans. We've got to get that point in. So she was born over 100 years ago from an egg. And the egg was found by the Lord of the Manor. So she started, I'll just read this. In the beginning, there was an egg. And the Lord of the Manor of Ashton Court, Greville Smith, used to go on expeditions around the world looking for objects, and he brought back this egg for his daughter Esme. Now, Greville Smith and Esme are real people. They did exist at one time. They were the Lord of the Manors of Ashton Court. So that bit is true, but obviously the dinosaur egg is not. But the dinosaur egg was given to given to Esme, and Esme looked after it. She wrapped it up and she looked after it. And one day it started to crack. And basically that's when Lucy was born. So Lucy came out the egg. So Esme, being a very wise little girl, she didn't want anybody to know. So she looked after Lucy in the woodlands to the house, because being in the big house, she noticed that there were lots of trophies from her father's expeditions hanging on the wall. So moose heads, stags' heads, and she didn't want Lucy to be hanging on the wall, basically. So, so basically she looks after her in the woods. And the story goes on where they build this great friendship, but one day Esme doesn't come again. She doesn't turn up because, like I say, dinosaurs live longer than humans. And Esme sort of goes off and the house is sold. But Lucy lives in the forest and she makes friends with all the animals and the trees and the grass, and it's all about nature and becoming one with nature. And this energy feeds Lucy. So there you go. That's up to there.
There's a lovely underlying premise to this as well, which is never be afraid to love, which is so important because, you know, it's a little bit like a storyline that Fleur Coles once wrote with Robert Vavra, which was Lion and Blue. And it was about a butterfly called Blue who fell in love with a lion. And the lion was terribly frightened to love and fall in love with the butterfly because the butterfly wouldn't live very long. And then the lion would have to suffer loss. And of course, the butterfly simply said, no, come and fly with me, just fly with me, let yourself go. And that's what's so beautiful about, in fact, everything that Andrew does. I've known Andrew for some years. Sorry, not Andrew, Anthony. Sorry, too many beginnings of letter A. I haven't known you for years, Andrew, but Anthony, yes, I've known for years. And if I can just fill in on a little bit of background here about Anthony, he didn't do the illustrations in this book. However, Anthony is a remarkably good illustrator and artist. He does the most amazing works of art and also paints people's houses. If anybody needs their home paint, I mean, a painting of their houses.
Oh,
not no.
Not DIY. I'm not DIY SOS. No,
right.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. And in fact, many years ago, when I first came to Bristol, I remember vividly. That's where I first spotted Anthony, and then many years later met him again and recognised that was where I'd see. And it was when Anthony was doing window dressing for, I think it was there was the John Lewis group and there was the House of Fraser group. That was it, House of Fraser. And that was that's 30 odd years ago, you know, a long time ago, 40 years ago, probably, I don't know. Anyway.
What I also love is that you've worked with Sooty, the Sooty Show, and Dick and Dom, because both Sooty and Dominic Ward are members of the Magic Circle. I'm a member of the Magic Circle.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are wonderful, famous members as well. What did you do on their shows? Okay,
so with the Sooty and Sweep show, I was a puppeteer. So you never saw me because I was below the scenery. So with that, I was with one season only, but I was with them. The Dick and Dom productions, along with a lot of other productions, I went into making life-size puppets, like that one. Life-size puppets, you know, bodysuits. In the Adventures of Dick and Dom, I did the Swampy, the swamp creature, and his girlfriend. They were huge puppets that you get into. I did some of the headdresses for Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, in the West End. Done quite a few pantomime costumes.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, yes, I have. So yeah, so I kind of went down that line, the creative line, and it just, I spent 3 years on doing the costume specials for good old Noel Edmonds.
Oh, brilliant.
Deal or No Deal.
Oh, did you? Did you do Mr. Blobby as well?
No, that was before
your time. And Dawn, you dashed off quickly to get one of these. This is one of your creations as well, is it, Anthony?
No.
You just had a random puppet lying around.
I think that's one of
I did. I mean, I think things like this are hilarious, and nobody can leave socks around unless I turn them into characters. I've got lots and lots of little sticky eyes that I stick on things and bring them to life because it's such fun. And you can create these little alter egos. If I were a child, the puppet that Anthony's made would be my absolute favourite, and I can see the potential. No wonder you got signed up straight away with this book immediately. Fantastic new contract. I can see the potential for the most fantastic marketing and merchandising of stuff, and especially since you can make it all. I know it's all there.
She's absolutely glorious, isn't she? So maybe what we should do, she should. Does she have a voice? Does she speak?
Doesn't have a voice. I was never a ventriloquist, so I have tried, but it doesn't seem to come.
I'll let you into the secret, Anthony. Now is the time to start. When everybody's wearing a mask, you can't.
I did do some. Obviously, when I do something, I trial it out on the children, see if they are connecting with the puppet. So I did some workshops for the PQA, which is Pauline Quirk Academy,
right,
in Oxford. I did a season with them, doing some work with what they call the little ones, the toddlers. And immediately when I brought Lucy into the room, both the boys and the girls came and hugged her. They reacted to her exactly how I wanted them to. And it is about, we're all different, accept who we are, whether you're a dinosaur or an Anthony or a Dawn or an Andrew, accept who you are, because we're all different, and you shouldn't judge yourself against anybody else. And it's about acceptance, and it's about having the courage to be you. And that's what the book is, in a way that little children will understand that it doesn't matter if you've got a whopping great green foot, it doesn't matter if you've got a horn on the end of your nose. You're still lovely, you're still beautiful. And this is what,
as long as it's not infected.
Ew. We don't have that kind of thing around here.
We don't have those kind of well, it's an absolute delight, Anthony. I wish you every success with the book. How can people get hold of the book? Okay,
they can go online to Amazon or any online bookshop. But from Friday, it will be in Waterstones, Barnes & Noble in the States. And I can't remember the one in Australia, it's gone out my head, but it's worldwide. It's going worldwide from Friday. But it's Olympia Publishing. And yeah, just very excited.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
I'm so excited for you as well. Congratulations, Anthony. Okay. It's just the best news ever.
I love Lucy. I love the message about be yourself because everybody else is taken. I love the positivity. It's all good stuff. Dawn, you want to say one final word?
Yes, I would like to get the title of this out again because it is a long title, but it's a really important one so that everybody gets that book.
Yeah,
Anthony.
And also I've got to say that the illustrator, Shelley Onion, is a local girl to Bristol as well. And I said to her about a year ago, because she's an amazing illustrator, and she illustrated this a couple of years ago, just from photos I took of Lucy in Ashton Court. I set up the story, you see, with photographs. She illustrated it. I said to her about a year ago, God, Shelley, you really need to be published. You're such an amazing artist. I'm going to get you published. And a year later, she's published. So the book is called Lucy the Triceratops, Who Thinks She's a Fairy and That's Okay.
Great title.
Fantastic. And anybody who can write that down quickly, you can get the first one. It's going to be good. It's a great title. It is available everywhere. Anthony, thank you so much for being my guest. Dawn, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
So thank you very much to my guests, Dawn Parry and also Anthony Churchill. And good luck with the book. If you want to get hold of a copy, go to the usual bookstop. It's all available worldwide from tomorrow. So a world exclusive here on the Andrew Eborn Show. If you'd like to be a guest yourself, write to me at guests@octopustv.com. That's guests@octopustv.com. You can also follow me on the usual platforms at Andrew Eborn, at Octopus TV. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Dailymotion and the various other platforms as well. But for me, for now, thank you again to my guests. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.